Good morning, welcome to Headline Focus, here live on Core Politics with me, Rob Double. It's a Friday, it's the end of the week, but it's actually a particularly busy day in terms of political news stories going on today. A lot is happening and a lot has come through in the papers as well. So let's start off with the first story. A minister quits over betting terminals delay. Now this is to do with Sports Minister Tracy Crouch, and she's resigned from her position as Sports Minister over the government's delay in bringing in curbs on fixed odds betting terminals. Now this is something the government has announced it's cracking down on for a while. It's been something which has been on the cards, particularly in terms of changing the minimum amount that you're allowed to bet, cutting stakes from £100 to £2 coming into force. Now, the big reason for this is that Philip Hammond, in the budget on Monday, said that the cut in stakes from £100 to £2 would come into force in October 2019. And that is quite a long time away in terms of government policy, what's being implemented. And Tracy Crouch said pushing back the date was unjustifiable and could cost the lives of problem gamblers, going on to say that politicians come and go, but principles stay with us forever, and adding that unfortunately implementation of these changes are now being delayed until October 2019 due to commitments made by others to those with registered interests. Now, why is this important? Well, this is another minister that Prime Minister Theresa May has lost. There's been large catalogue of senior ministers as well as junior ministers from government having to resign over either scandal or personal challenges around maintaining in the job as well. That's not a good position, and some reports today indicate that this could be a spark of a crisis for the Prime Minister. Indeed, the Mail reporting that this is a chance for those who aren't particularly sympathetic for Theresa May's leadership to pile on the pressure. With the Telegraph also reporting that the Prime Minister is facing a result from up to 35 other MPs over this specific delay. So in terms of the dynamics here, Tracy Crouch reports have been very popular, or at least a popular minister, adding more pressure to the Prime Minister and her leadership at a time when already reports are that it is strained no more so than over the realities of Brexit and what's happening over the next few months as well. So certainly something to keep an eye on in terms of any further MPs coming to the forefront over this issue. You can see here, this is the Mail's front page, blood on their hands, really provocative stuff over this reported delay. Next up then, another report coming through, and this is real big exclusive for The Times. They're splashing it on their front page. Former Home Secretary Amber Rudd was let down by her own officials before, during and after the Windrush scandal that led to her resignation. Now that's according to this Time exclusive report from a leaked internal inquiry from Number 10 into the events leading up to Amber Rudd's resignation. Now, she, of course, quit her role as Home Secretary in April, saying she had inadvertently misled MPs investigating the Windrush scandal, this is particularly to do with her appearance at a Home Affairs Select Committee. She gave an inaccurate assertion that her department had no targets for immigration removals. This was this whole story, if you remember, about whether there were targets, whether there weren't targets in terms of immigration removals at the time when the Windrush reports were also coming out as well. This report, this internal report, concludes... several includes. The author, Sir Alex Allen, says does not recommend any civil servant face a misconduct investigation. However, did say Miss Rudd was not supported as she should have been, saying officials described officials giving wrong information and failing to clear up the problem in time to allow Amber Rudd to correct the record, saying that Rudd specifically asked senior officials before the hearing about whether there were removal targets and was told by officials that there were not. So given information which was seemingly so not accurate. So Alex saying, I cannot establish how she was given this reply. The most likely explanation is crossed wires between her special advisor and her private office. Now, Amber Rudd actually told the Today programme this morning that the department did not have a grip on the Windrush scandal. Now, also in the context of this, whether she will return to frontline politics after this report, which does to some extent, put her in a good light in terms of the circumstances of her resignation, said she'd quite like to be Home Secretary again, according to reports, because there's a few things I'd like to do a bit better than last time. Now, this report is due to be reportedly published today. The Time Office declined to comment in that Times exclusive report. Pick up a Times if you're interested in reading more of that. That really is a fascinating insight into what happened over the circumstances of Amber Rudd's resignation just a few months ago. Finally, one more story then. You thought David Cameron when he left Westminster as an MP, would be not returning to frontline politics. Well, not so, according to the Sun newspaper. They're reporting that he's mulling a return to frontline politics after he stood down as MP in 2016. He's only 52 years old, which in terms of politics is still relatively young to have ambitions of high office still in government. Now, the reports are from the Sun is that a source has said that he would not rule out one day moving to be Foreign Secretary, potentially, if a future leader called on him to return. Interesting, though, this is not going to happen under Theresa May. These reports make this clear, the source saying that he told friends he was hoping for a cabinet recall with a new Tory leader. The reaction, though, has also been particularly strident as well. Angela Rayner, Shadow Education Secretary, calling the reports bizarre. Andrew Gwynn, Shadow Communities and Local Government Secretary, saying, God, no, didn't he do enough damage first time round? Please spare us all. With Yvette Cooper also saying, you ripped up our closest international partnership by accident. Still, always a possibility David Cameron could be returning to government in high office. However, his spokesperson, or Mr Cameron's spokesperson, refused to comment last night on these reports. But something to think about going into the weekend, as no doubt more of these stories will be developed and more news lines will come out of them. Just a couple of also quick breaking news stories. Police have launched a criminal inquiry into allegations of anti-Semitic hate crimes within the Labour Party. Look at the news wires for that. That's coming out today. And of course, reports in a few of the papers as well that the National Crime Agency has launched an investigation into Aaron Banks, Leave.eu, and Leave.eu over alleged offences committed in the 2016 EU referendum. Mr Banks, of course, denied any wrongdoing and said he welcomed the police investigation. Have a look at those reports in the main news outlets if you want to find out more. But a lot going on for a Friday to go into the weekend, so no doubt we'll be bringing you all the latest over these reports and more on Monday for another Headline Focus. See you then.